a top American lawyer has claimed that Prince Harry's drug-taking confessions could threaten his US visa. Former federal prosecutor Nirma Rahmani told the New York Post last night an admission of drug use is usually grounds for inadmissibility.
Prince Harry has never shied away from speaking about his mental health. But what if there's another layer to his decline? According to royal expert Angela Levin, it's not just trauma, grief or royal pressure, it's drugs.
That means Prince Harry's visa should have been denied or revoked because he admitted to using cocaine, mushrooms and other drugs. Now, the Heritage Foundation, a Washington, D.C.-based conservative think tank, is currently locked in a battle with officials who are refusing to publish any details about the Duke's visa application. This is one of the foundation's directors, great friend of the show, Niall Gardner, explaining exclusively while they're fighting for transparency.
The Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation has submitted a Freedom of Information request to the Biden administration to make public Prince Harry's immigration application. It is vitally important that anyone who applies to the United States receives equal treatment. It is important that no one receives preferential treatment in terms of their immigration application. And a key question here is whether or not Prince Harry's application to the United States received full vetting and scrutiny, especially in light of his widespread drug use, which he admitted to in his memoir, Spare. This is an issue of accountability and transparency, and there should not be, under any circumstances, preferential treatment given to a public figure like Prince Harry. Everyone should be treated equally before the law. And we are asking for the Biden administration to be fully transparent in providing the documentation that has been requested with regard to Prince Harry's immigration application.
And too right. So joining me now, Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin. Angela, do you think, given he has very clearly broken US law, that Prince Harry should actually now be deported from the US?
Yeah, it's very interesting because when I heard him say what drugs he's taken without feeling uncomfortable in any way, I thought to myself, he's going to be in trouble. Mm-hmm. You know, he might not get back into America again. So somebody, you know, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know these things, but it's quite obvious.
Today we break down her shocking claims about Harry's history with substance abuse and how it may be the real root behind his public breakdowns, family fallout and emotional instability. Angela Levin, who spent over a year shadowing Harry for his biography, recently exposed details about his long-time use of drugs, citing cannabis, magic mushrooms and cocaine as part of his coping mechanism even before
America
leaving royal life.
does not like to take people in who take drugs. It's been going on a long time, and he shouldn't get special treatment. I don't know how much special treatment he got when he was taken in, because he's only got a visa for a certain time. But this is more important, and I just don't understand how he could be so naive, Harry, and say what he was taking almost as if it was an accomplishment. I also don't understand why his wife didn't warn him about that. He talks to her about everything he's going to say. She's in charge, as we both know, and didn't say, look, be careful, because if you talk too much about the magic mushrooms and the cocaine and all that, you might be in trouble. Why she left him alone to make his own mind up what he says, I feel quite concerned about. And also the mental health guru who was talking to him should have said beforehand, don't mention all the drugs. Here's a man who's helping him, who's in such a muddle to try and think clearly and improve, and there he is actually making his life extremely difficult. So he said he's killed 25 Afghanistans, which makes his life much more difficult, and that people could be after him, and he needs even more protection. And this one makes it very difficult if he can get back into his country, if he leaves for the coronation. I think that's very significant, and you ought to take that into account.
Because maybe they won't let him back in.
Maybe they won't let him come back there, and then he'll be really in trouble.
I mean, probably the thing that he's got going in his favour is obviously there's a Democrat administration in the US. Biden, obviously a big supporter of Harry and Meghan. You know, if Trump was back
including his
as
wife,
president,
their friends, Harry and
indeed.
Biden.
So I'm sure he is getting what they call celebrity justice in the US,
Well, that's
special
not fair.
treatment.
It's not
But
fair.
if there was a Trump administration, he actually might be collared, could be booted. Because, you know, if this was an ordinary citizen who had boasted about drug use in this way, there is no way he would have been allowed to enter the US. I've read lots of stories today of ordinary British folk who have been caught by US customs officials. Sometimes they even go through people's phones.
Once known as the party prince, Harry's wild days were written off as youthful rebellion. But Levin says this pattern of escapism didn't stop. It intensified. In Spare, Harry openly admits to using psychedelics to deal with his grief, but Angela argues these substances may have deepened his emotional instability rather than healing it.
Just to make sure that there's no talk of drug use. Harry has actually admitted it. He's boasted about breaking the US law.
I think there's one thing that if you're not caught actually taking drugs or selling drugs, you might not be thrown out.
Well,
But
I
if you-
actually read the story of one woman who had simply spoken to friends on text messages about taking drugs, no criminal charges whatsoever, and she was booted out of the country by
Yeah, it's a
customs
very
officials.
unfair world, and he shouldn't get away with it. I mean, he's no longer a prince, really, in working capacity. He's had amazing help and being spoilt absolutely from top to bottom. So I don't think he should be given any particular treatment now.
And the thing is, Angela, all of this talk of drug use, it was so obvious that he just thought it was cool. You know, he was very proud of the fact that he'd been at these homes of Hollywood celebrities like Courtney Cox, boasting of taking mushrooms. It's actually, for someone who claims that he's a humanitarian, I mean, I don't believe Prince Harry's a humanitarian for a
he's
single
not.
second.
No,
There's
no.
one human being he cares about, and that's himself. But he claims to be a humanitarian. Does he have any understanding of the millions of lives around the world that are destroyed because of the scourge of drugs? The young people who get caught up and used by drug dealers. And it actually makes me sick. These middle-class drug users who have no idea of the consequences of their actions because they think it's cool. They think it's cool to break the law.
Yes, they're frightened not to because all their friends are doing it, so they have to too. But also, I'm sure you read that several mothers have complained about him talking about certain illegal drugs because she said her child took it and actually it killed him. There was a him and a her.
Was Harry self-medicating or spiralling? Angela Levin paints a heartbreaking picture of a man who lost his way not just because of trauma, but because of what he turned to in order to escape it. So we ask you,
Oh, yeah, because he's also encouraging the use of psychedelics too.
Yes,
For
and
mental
so-
health treatment.
so-
Well, who's he to make
Well, he shouldn't be.
that
He
pronouncement?
should have been sacked straight away because you can't imagine someone who cannot understand anything about his own problems, hasn't improved, he's got far worse than he did when he was 10 years younger. And you can't let people just take what you're saying and using it in a terribly bad capacity. You have to take some responsibility. He hasn't learnt how to be responsible. He's had everything done for him, and he still can't be responsible for his own life, let alone other people.
No, indeed. And look, one of the reasons I'm so opposed to drugs is because when I have seen people in my own life who become under the influence, you know, it is a one-way path to mental destruction. And I think actually we can look at Harry's life, see how things have unravelled over the past couple of years, and actually think that maybe all of this drug use has been a part of it. You know, but Angela
Well, he
Levin,
started at 17, and he's obviously still carrying on. And so that must have a bad effect
exactly.
on
I
his
think
whole thought process.
I think if Prince Harry were to quit the drugs, actually maybe he would have a happier life. But Angela Levin,
I agree.
do you think Prince Harry's mental struggles are a product of his past or worsened by his choices in the present? Hit that like button if you believe truth and accountability matter, no matter your title. And let us know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe, stay informed and keep watching, because with Harry the story is never really over.